Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to week number 2 of the qualifiers here in North America. My name is hi-rez Bart. Joining me on the desk, of course, is the one and only Gandhi. And we are here to bring you the action from North America. We'll be starting in the round of 16. The way this tournament works is there is an open bracket process to get into the final 8 of the open bracket, which then gets moved into a 16-team bracket that has 8 soft-seeded teams. If you're following along at home, you can find those brackets on the esports in the blog section, and you can enjoy everything that there is based on seed. But today, as you can see, it's going to be in the round of 16, our game, Team Nomad versus XS right there in the middle. You also have Eager and Iceman in there as well. So there's some good games coming out of this early round of 16. But our game is XS and Nomad, and it's ready to go, Scott. Anything that you're looking forward to in this match?
Well, it's going to be interesting to see who kind of Jerby brings out, right? We haven't really seen him since the show match was really the last time we saw this, a first look at this Team Nomad, and we're both kind of like, this team has the potential. So interesting to see what kind of god pull that Jerby is going to bring out here for Team Nomad. I think he's kind of my person to focus on throughout this entire match, but other than that, I'm expecting a lot of kitty cats, a.k.a. Bastets in the jungles. Everyone seems to be favoring her.
Yeah, she's enjoyed. For me, it's Paradox on the side of Nomad.
Yeah,
is a player to look at. New player on the pro circuit, and it's always interesting to see the ADC shakeup in North America because it's a pretty limited pool of players.
Yeah, which kind of sucks, right? Like Aurora, it's at the point in North America where so many people don't play the Hunter role at the level where they need to be that Aurora was like, I want to go play on 180 ping in Europe. Right?
To play with the Hunter. Well, let's go ahead and move into the picks and bans, guys. It's going to be XS on the left side and Team Nomad on the right. And voila, here they are. So, yet another redux of the picks and ban screen, guys.
Hey, look at that.
Based on your feedback, we hope that you like it as much as we do. Left side is XS, right side is Nomad. And let's get this thing underway. First ban is going to be out. Whoa, no, I'm sorry, that's Kukulkan.
Come on.
Jeez
Come
Louise.
on, Bart.
Jeez Louise.
Come on. Everyone knows that's Kukulkan. So, Kukulkan now.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Well,
okay. Hashtag blame someone.
Well, someone dropped the ball here. This is actually Ao Kwong. Real Ao Kwong, the magic assassin that used to look like that. Let's all pretend he's playing like the celebration skin and something.
I was getting ready to kind of like BS away about Kukulkan. Like, yeah, well, some people just don't like going against whirlwinds. Jerby used to play him in the SPL, but Ao Kwong is a beast. So Giannis getting banned out. No shocker there. Giannis getting a lot of favor in both the solo and the mid lane. He seems to be more favored in the mid lane, actually, surprisingly enough, just because you can kind of build him full CDR and get around the map and have complete synergy. And then Athena, bye-bye. Yeah, no shocker at all.
Yep. So our bans conclude as Ao Kwong, Giannis banned out by XS, and Nomad banning Circuit Athena. With the first pick, XS will take Thor, so looking to have that kind of space control, tempo controller through the mid game here in Thor, but a little bit of execution requirement on this god. Definitely not a slack 'em and yak 'em sort of guy.
No. You got to be very, very aggressive with Thor. You also have to make sure you get the best bang for your buck out of him as well. You got to get those early kills. You got to just try to look to invade if you really want to. But that first mid Harpy spawn is really where Thor shines because his passive is the more enemies who are around him, the more power he does. So he goes into Berserker Barrage, does all the things, and their health is gone.
Shibalanke going to be going to the Paradox on the side of Nomad, and they're going to pair that right away with a Sylvanas. So the duo lane is set for Nomad. They've kind of played their hand early, but they've gotten, I think, a pretty potent duo here. Sylvanas going to be very capable of keeping Shibalanke up. But with the Cupid pick on the side of XS, that kind of indicates they're looking to play at least a little bit aggressive during the laning phase. Sylvanas, one of his main weaknesses, not fantastic peel unless he hits his hook, which is not the easiest spell in the world, but he does have the extra mana aura to help out with Shibalanke out of his one. So all things told, should be a pretty powerful lane for Nomad, and XS continues to pick, well, I guess kind of meta here. Poseidon and Cupid, both very, very kind of flavor of the weak gods, and highly valued. Bastet. Speaking of flavor of the month, it's going to be the kitty cat, as you mentioned there. So Sky with a call on the Bastet. Out of the first 3 picks, as we go into the second banning phase, obviously XS needs the Guardian. Nomad banning away Geb on the side of Nomad. Well, they have pretty much their dual lane and their jungler. It's a lot of their damage coordinated mid laner and a soul laner here. And so the ban is going to be Kronos. What do you think about that one?
Kronos is very, very strong. So the big thing about Kronos is we're seeing him get played in the duo lane, the mid lane, and the solo lane. So if you pick him in the first banning phase, the enemy team doesn't really know what to do. They're like, okay, is that going to be a duo lane Kronos? Well, Snoopy or whoever fill in the blank plays him in the duo, but it could be a mid. He's just very, very strong. And towards the end of the game, as long as you hit Quadrant 4, you're going to be swinging on towers for about 300 damage, so you have a lot of damage on towers as well.
Isis drafted on the side of Nomad. That one seems really likely to be going to the mid lane.
Yep.
Which would be Jerby on Isis, which is, a lot of the pro players, I feel like this is like the god that they want to play very often.
That's
but
a good point.
It's similar to how Poseidon was about 2 months ago. But Ares has been drafted here to help deal with that Bastet primarily. Xbalanque as well with fairly mobility-based damage. Not exceptionally for Xbalanque, mostly during the laning phase, but paired with the Cupid, that gives them a lot of kill potential. And
Fat
oh my
Loki!
goodness. That's a fat Loki for the solo lane, I suppose.
Yeah, that's a solo lane Cabrakan, I got to think. Okay, all right, Bart. It's funny. This week, Bart and I were just talking. I looked over and I go, hey, Bart, you think we're ever going to see a fat Loki? And you go, I don't know, man. He's really tough to play from behind.
Yeah, he is. And Hercules is going to be going up against him in the lane, which means it's unlikely he's going to get ahead. At best, he can hope to drop parity. He'll be dealing with a Bastet Hercules kind of assault in that solo lane. His jungler Thor, I don't know, between Thor and Cabrakan, it's certainly a lot of burst, but is it enough burst to get through Hercules? Obviously, if you don't kill the Hercules, he's going to heal a lot of it back. So it seems risky, unless the Thor is exceptionally farmed, that this solo lane is going to have much action. At least in favor of Excess.
Well, which could be the play coming out of Excess as well, right? When you have a Thor, it can kind of say, all right, I can very easily camp solo and mid lane at the same time, especially with my ultimate. I can kind of use Mjolnir's Attunement, go into mid lane, kind of peel that off, and then go to Fire Giant, ult down. But the kill potential on Hercules is going to be very, very, very tough. So I have my eyes on he's probably going to want to look to shut down Isis in the mid lane. She does it. I mean, she has Wind Gust, which gives her mobility, but it's not like a dash like Agni. So that would probably be my target.
So one concern here for Excess is that looking over at the side of Nomad here, it's a lot of heal. Hercules, Isis with some heal, Sylvanas obviously with quite a bit. Xbalanque is going to have lifesteal pretty early on in the game. Where is the anti-heal coming from? Is the Ares going to get a Divine Ruin? Is Poseidon going to get the Divine Ruin? Is there going to be a weakening curse on the side of Excess? Because they're going to have some answer for all of this healing.
Yeah, maybe Cabrakan with the weakening curse is probably your best bet. Looking at, there's no way an Ares, especially as support, is going to look at Heartward, Amulet, and Sovereignty and be like, oh, well, you know what I really need to get is a Divine Ruin.
Right. Yeah, you can't pass up those powerful protection and aura-based items, especially in your second or third slot.
No, you really can't.
Exactly. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Where's it going to go? Likely Poseidon is going to have to go for that Divine Ruin, which means that his Spear of the Magus is going to be delayed, or they're going to have a lot of healing to deal with, and they're going to try to outburst the heal potential coming out of Nomad.
Which could very well be the case. And I think that might be the decision to make. I'll tell you what, Cupid's not going to be building a Brawler's Beatstick anytime soon. The Hunter build has pretty much been set in stone. It starts off Blue Stone Pendant, you get your Dev Gloves, then right into Ichavolt, and that's going to give you a 60 power swing.
Right, yeah. Ichvile, a very good boxing item. You know, I think there is probably still some builds that'll progress out here. I think there's ways to beat the Ichvile, or at least get a different power spike than it has. You can see the minion getting returned, the invade coming down, the spin to win on top of the ground pound. It's going to be first blood, and it's going to go to Cabrakan of all gods. Excess is here. How about that? We said he needed a good start, and there it is. They're not going to hit level 2 here. I doubt they're going to be able to take this camp as well. Cabrakan trying to zone. He can take up fairly well, and there you see the seismic pound. Generally speaking, though, I don't see that ability in particular skilled early on that often. Usually you go for a little bit more of the burst and tanky approach out of the 1-2 combination, but the one value point in that ground pound yielding some kills.
That's Fat Loki for you. You said you want to get him started very early, and that's kind of what's just happened here. So they went for the invade. Unfortunately, Hercules still got his blue buff. That's really the point of contention they want. But when you steal away a speed buff, that really hurts this jungler throughout the entire time, especially Bastet, who's really strong between levels like 4 and 15.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he definitely has a period where he excels, but it's, how do you deal with that spike coming through? First blood to Excess on this side. I mean, I'm still actually a little bit blown away that goes to Cabrakan there.
Yeah. I don't know though. I think at the same time you would say that it's not a terrible thing. Thor's gonna get kills throughout the entire game. There's really no more kill potential coming out of Cabrakan for the rest of the game. Right? Like, he's going to have to get pretty lucky. Heart Bomb landing on
Aries is the one in
Xbalanque.
trouble, though. Yeah. Even as the Heart Bomb comes through, they're going to get Xbalanque down about half health, and Aries barely going to survive this one. Even with his Mark of the Vanguard start having a little bit of trouble, that seems to be the big issue with Aries, right, is how do you sustain yourself in the lane? And the answer so often seems to be pair with a Cupid that can heal him.
Yeah. Mid lane, Poseidon. And now this is going to be Thor as well. So right here, when the mid lane can be shoved up like this, he's actually going to be able to get experience from this speed buff, which is going to be huge for them. And they might be able to even split these back Harpies. So this Poseidon's going to be a lot farther ahead in experience than we're going to see Isis.
Yeah, Poseidon picking up his red buff now. No, I'm sorry, that's the orange buff that they were securing there on the right side. But we're still taking a look here at the duo lane, and you can see there's the hearts that help Cupid heal up that Aries. And that really is a lot of what helps this lane function, because there's a tremendous amount of harass coming out of the Xbalanque. But let's take a look at this gank, because Ice comes in, Jerby's on the mark with the Spirit Ball, and Aries with no way out of this one, no ultimate to even try to negate some of that CC. And Sylvanas going to be a bit off the mark there with that pull. But Jerby, with the first rotation, draws even for Nomad. The equalizer coming in at the 3rd-minute mark. Yeah,
that's strong, too. And especially early on, Aries, yeah, he's got the Mark of the Vanguard, but he's not at that point where you're not going to not take a free kill on him. But mid-Harpy's coming up here. Looks like Thor.
No, Bass with the second hand. I'm not sure. What do you think, Scott? What's the answer, Scott? And the graphs. Hey!
The graphs. Oh, no, I'm in the wrong buttons.
F2, buddy.
That's the ticket. F2?
F3.
F3?
You did it.
There it is. No, I didn't.
Looks like it went to excess there. So it was not stolen by that Bass. That Thor did snag that one. Cupid here, once again, you know, he's having a little bit of a tough time with the Xbalanque. You can see having to use some consumables here and there, but it looks like both of them are going to make it to those Devourer's Gloves, but almost 200 gold Xbalanque is ahead, so he may be up a wave or two on Cupid. As you see, he's falling back, and that's going to be the Devo's Glove rush. Cupid likely to have it after this wave as well, but slightly more efficient timing out of that Xbalanque. And that's just, you know.
He was also a part of the kills as well.
He was.
He got a piece of that pie.
Every little piece that Xbalanque gets ahead gets amplified as the game gets later. So with a 200 gold advantage and maybe, you know, 10 damage up on you because of stacks, all of a sudden he starts getting kills with his passive.
Oh, yeah.
And then the crit, and all of a sudden that 10 damage becomes 50, 60, and 70. It can get really dangerous to snowball in this god.
2 chains. 3 chains being on Sylvanas, really not being phased by that at all. You can see his health like nothing. Sylvanas at the beginning of Season 2, everyone's like, oh, he's so weak now. Oh, I don't even want him without Midas boots, and Sovereignty got nerfed. And then it's just like, well, hold the phone. Double tap. He got this. There's going to be the pot to jump away. He doesn't have the hammer to teleport to, but he is going to force him out. So that's still a win for Thor.
Yeah, BCHM forced out of the jungle at least for the moment, but can they like steal anything away here? He's at least going to get into position, but they've pulled the Hercules out of lane, so they're getting that extra bit of experience onto Cabrakan, and that's always nice. A little bit of free farm there. That Xbalanque ultimate coming out. Hercules, there's the boulder. We didn't hit T. Is Thor going to take it up in the air? No, he's knocked up during Mjolnir's attunement. And once again, no, he's not going to make it out. Trying to retreat in the same direction Bastet did, but not as lucky as the kitty. No movement abilities up. Mjolnir's attunement used at a little bit of an awkward time right as that Xbalanque pole was, I'm sorry, the Hercules pole was coming out. Ares ultimate used into the Kraken, and that is going to be a kill most likely, but Isis kiting around the edge of the whirlpool, still alive, and Jerby somehow makes it out alive at this one. Sasic with the killing spree on the back of that team fight.
That's a beautiful Spirit Ball into an easy pull set up for Hercules right into a driving strike. That driving strike was guaranteed to kill him. Now, the idea behind the Ares pull was fantastic. They set it up with the Poseidon. Everything was perfect, but what they weren't counting on was an Isis hitting a perfect Spirit Ball and then Hercules just doing all the damage right in front of him. So not only do they get 2 kills out of that, but now on top of that, they get a Gold Fury, and that is going to be a pretty big lead. 2,000 gold lead now for this Team Nomad.
Yeah, Nomad, they've done a really nice job there in that last engagement. Not only Hercules hitting that Earthbreaker, but also the Spirit Balls you mentioned on the Isis. 2 pretty difficult skill shots to hit, and they execute both of them, and that gives them the kills as well as the Gold Fury, and as you mentioned, the 2,000 gold lead. Cabrakan hasn't factored much into this game outside of that first blood. Let's take a look at his itemization, however. It's the Vampiric Shroud for the little bit of sustain in lane into the Bancroft's Talon. So he's going to be going for a very damage-oriented build. It looks like he's favoring the Seismic Crush as well here. So not going to be very bursty, more of a team fight controlling Cabrakan, which obviously he's quite good at and makes sense coming out of the solo lane where so often they are more mid-game warriors than any kind of early-game burst potential.
I wouldn't have minded to see him just kind of go tanky, just so they have another form of frontline. Just because the Thor is going to be a little bit behind here. 0-1-1. He's not too far down, but at the same time, you almost want that second frontline so Thor can just kind of jump in with no problem at all. The pull happens. Airy goes for the counter.
Follow up. Here's the Poseidon. He's going to use the Kraken. It's going to hit two. They're going to pull back in. I think he only got the big hit off on Isis, and Sylvanas able to charge forward and zone them back out. Quickly back onto the Kraken here. His build is 2-4-1-2 currently. So he is actually prioritizing his burst pretty heavily, but using the Seismic Crust to clear the waves. Obviously, very, very mana efficient, that spell, and pretty low cooldown as well. So Hercules, in comparison, tossing boulders to do the same thing. So
he's just like, well, Hercules just wants to get back to the house, right? He has 1,600 gold in hand, so it's going to be interesting to see what he's going to go with here. He's probably going to look for some magical defense, and as you can see here, the talisman's coming online, so he knows what he's doing. Solo lane now, especially, is just all about the counter.
This could be a kill here. Ares, this is a kill here as Ares goes down. No objectives. Fire down a little too early for that shenanigans. He doesn't start till 10 minutes. Gold Fury is down, so they can't do much off the kill on the tank, but it does just open up the lanes continually for Nomad, and this is how they're going to build upon the lead that they set with the Gold Fury. Now they're going to dive into the tower. Thor in a lot of trouble. He may start channeling, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The Dot will pick it up. Jerby and BCHM, combined for the kill in the mid lane.
And Jerby's doing an excellent job.
He is.
They are favoring this mid lane. They are trying to stomp on Poseidon. Now, the reason this works out, driving strike miss. The reason this works out is just because Poseidon shines in the early game before people start getting Aegis 3 online. So if you focus him and get him out of the game early, he's going to have a really tough time in late game.
Yeah, absolutely. He is. And
it's a good play call.
So here we go. Looking back into the duo lane, this is somewhere where we need to check back in because Xbalanque has been left kind of unattended to for a bit here. Cupid and he have been sparring off. It's fairly even, 10 apiece in levels. The Xbalanque is a bit ahead in stacks. Looks like at 49. The Cupid at 36. And well, this is kind of what we talked about with the kill. The extra damage that he got off of those kills early on. He's going to be able to outtrade this Cupid with that little bit of extra damage, and if Cupid's not careful, he'll continue to multiply. But, of course, Cupid has on his side burst damage, which Xbalanque has basically none of. So it's always a dangerous but pretty thrilling duel when these two go at it before the Ick-Files. After that, it's pretty heavily in favor of Xbalanque.
Yeah, the later this game goes on, the harder it is going to be for Cupid. Cupid pretty much just has to wait for the setup of the Ares ultimate into the Kraken, and then Fields of Love comes down, and then she'll help out. Right side Boulder's actually going to connect. Do they have the follow-up? It looks like Kraken is going to fall down here as they're going to dive, and that's just going to be an easy kill for them. Back in the duo lane, though.
Oh,
Ares.
yes. There it is. The ultimate coming out from the Ares and the Cupid. The kind of hub cheese combination lane. I mean, that kind of originally this lane, Hades Cupid, Ares Cupids, where you can pull someone in and then use the cripple on top of him. Sylvanas maybe taking a spill here as well on the left side lane.
He doesn't have the dash. Cupid's going to miss it, Sylvanas, but he's going to be able to make it out of there. Cupid really needed that kill. He burned his dash early on, and Sylvanas just used the creeps to his advantage.
So over on the right side, I didn't want to go back to that Kraken taking a spill against the Bastet. One thing that's important to note here is that his number 2 builds him defense, and then once it's full, he can use it to amplify his damage and get a longer stun in a cone. He used the spell before he was under tower to stun out the cats and Bastet that were hot on his tails, but it also removed all of his protections, which meant that the dot damage that came out from the cats after that, when he was under tower and a bit safer, ended up being enough to kill him. So a little bit of a mechanical misplay there on the side of excess for the Shuku.
Yep. Gold Fury getting ready to spawn up as well. As you can take a look at the active slots for both solo laners here, you can see the importance of a global presence, so you can see teleport. It's online. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a kill anytime soon to see both of them kind of rotate over there as well and kind of put all their marbles in that. But it is going to be tough. Kraken, I don't know how Kraken comes back from this.
Well, that's a good question. His itemization, he has a Bancroft's Talon, Teleport 3, and a Blink, which means he's going to be looking to be an initiator. He's going to need at least something to help deal with the bursts that come after initiations, but here comes the burst from Excess. They've got pretty much the dream initiation there. They blow up to right away. Spearball coming in on the mark, though. The ground pound from Shuku ripping through that team fight, though, and he picks up a double kill.
That's how you come back?
Yeah, that's it. The dream. But Ares, no, what an ultimate there.
Wow.
Really nicely timed. And Hercules off the mark with his ultimate. They're going to clean up Hercules as well. Nomad throwing this one a little bit back to Excess, who is not dropping the ball in the execution.
Oh, best
Oh, just off the mark there
that
was Dr. Love.
That is one crazy kitty cat there, Bart. I can't believe she even looked to go back in. The cats went down, Bastet. They were trying to burst it. They weren't able to do it. The teleports came in.
And they got the Gold Fury in there.
And they get Gold Fury as well. That is a huge swing for them. And he's coming back. I mean, he's 3-1-2 now. Bancroft is done. Next is going to be the Boots as well, which is going to help out Cabrakan a lot. And as you kind of look down here, you can see Poseidon. This helps him out as well. Even though he went CDR Boots, I can still kind of get it. He just kind of wants to do more Tridents, which is why it looks like he's getting ready to go into Spear.
The big question for me here is very simply, can Excess continue to build on this lead? So often we see the newer teams going up against a little bit more tenured teams in Nomad. Derby calling the shots here, I would imagine. Can they take this little bit of lead they have? They've gotten back to parity, and build it into something real. They need to secure the next objective. They get the tower off of that last fight, but they can't let Nomad continue to outfarm, because when the game has been stagnant, Nomad has been pulling ahead in terms of gold per minute. So they need to find a way to kind of stress these lanes, continue to push, and maybe take the Fire Giant after a big team fight, or find the tier 1 on the right. Something needs to happen for them around the map to keep this lead going.
Well, Kraken's going to hit as well in the mid lane here, and now Bastet's going to be stunned under tower. Thor's looking to do it. You can see the Shablanki ultimate, which is going to force that one out. Cabrakan's going to rotate as well. These mid Harpies are getting ready to come up. This is going to be very, very important for both teams. The Blink's going to come in. He misses the stun, but that's going to be a kill. And unfortunately, they weren't able to get the right Harps, and the left Harps are getting ready to come up. This is going to be a big fight, Bart.
I don't know if they're going to fight. Yes, they are, because there comes the ultimates coming out. Cabrakan and Cupid both using Cupid off the mark, though. He tries to zone the team, but it's just not enough. They run right through it, and now they have nothing to counter-initiate. The Bastet jumping in. She moves back. Cabrakan still holding his own in the backlines, fighting for, and he finds a kill on Bastet, underestimating the damage of the fat Loki there was the kitty, but she finds a double kill nonetheless in that fight after her death. A posthumous award, but an award nonetheless.
Cabrakan's got to be heartbroken for there. Ares was in the backside. He tried to rip an ultimate. He was out of range by just a little bit. He must be playing on like instant casting, and he kind of misjudged it. Probably, and he just sat there standing, doing nothing.
Yeah, so based on the dodge of the pull earlier, right? Or, the driving strike earlier, he probably is on instant cast. He ripped that one off fast.
I don't know how people do the instant cast. I understand on some abilities, but like Ares ultimate, normal cast, man. But then again, I'm also like ancient, and I'm not good at video games anymore.
If you know the range, if you just know it, like it's obviously the better choice. It's just kind of do you need the training wheels or not? And well, for me, it's definitely training wheels.
Okay, yeah. There's nothing wrong with bumpers. Thor's gonna get knocked out right away, and you can see the mitigate wounds didn't come on early enough, so he is gonna take a lot, but he should be able to heal that up all the time.
XS 9. Nomad 10 in the kill category here, 14 minutes, 20 seconds in, guys. It is the first game broadcast today out of the SPL Qualifiers week number 2. And, well, this one is to make it into week number 3, which is where the structure shakes up a little bit, and we identify the final teams moving into the Smite Pro League to play for a boatload of money.
Oh, yeah. A boatload.
An entire one boatload.
One Noah's Ark load.
It's a slow boat to China boatload. Oh, here we go. It's going to be a dive under the right side tower, but this is a Cabrakan. He starts pounding the ground. I don't know if he's going to be able to DPS through the cast, so they've done a lot of damage to him. There's the boulder. He's trying. Bastet is in trouble. He's made time for the Thor. Can he lock down the Hercules for the burst? No, Sasek is going to survive, and now here comes the danger. The Hercules starts healing back up, driving strike through with all that bonus power. Down will go the Thor. It's a double kill for Sasek yet again, and they've kind of fed the Hercules a few times here.
He's going for the
Kraken comes out, but now out of position. Forced to use beats for the Shibalanke ultimate. The damage coming through, and the Isis ultimate is on the mark. Jerby hit the Spirit Ball as well there. Jerby playing a real gem here. Ares ultimate coming up, and they may be able to burst him. No, he gets the two-man pull. Hercules is going to dive the tower. It doesn't matter. It's a kill on the Bastet. She was a third, I think, stuck underneath there. I didn't see her. They will dive and take him, and likely the tier 2 as well will Nomad. And XS's lead has evaporated to nothing and has turned into a 4,500 experience lead for Nomad on those kills. 1,500 on the farm in the gold category here, and Nomad now fairly squarely ahead.
Oh, yeah, and a tiny little advantage that you can just tell from Jerby. Jerby, after that, he shoves the wave that was coming onto the tier 2, and then he steals their back Harpies, making sure their lead stays secured as much as possible. So as this falls, this is looking very, very good.
Not a lot of push coming out of XS there. I mean, it's really just the Hercules able to do the damage, and Well, he doesn't even have his Jotun draft done here. It's the Gaia's, Son of Gaia's. His farm, honestly, is quite good, but without that damage item finish yet, or even that utility with a half damage item kind of soul, not going to be able to do enough damage to that tower, and obviously the ice is not lending much yet either. So Gold Fury, however, is started up now by Exus. A little bit of a desperation play, but a smart one, as they're fairly certain they know where the members of Nomad are, seeing that back in the mid lane. Ares and Cupid starting to burn it down. Shibalanke hasn't gotten wise yet, now starting to rotate around. Are they going to be able to get it down to 30%, 20%? Yes, they will indeed. Gold Fury snuck by Excess. Smart stuff there. Nice placement of the Sentry Ward to secure the vision.
Yep, that was big. And that was really all just because Team Nomad was stacked up on the solo lane. They committed 3 people to try to get that tier 2, and they didn't have enough burst, as you said. And as you look at that tower, it's about half health. So then they were just kind of like, well, there was 3, so they probably bagged. We probably have time to burst this Gold Fury and stay in the game.
You know, Kabrakan and Cupid, they're leading the charge here for Excess at level 16. Nomad, however, they have 3 members, Isis, Basset, and Hercules, and Shibalanke now 4 members sitting at level 16, and that's where that experience lead is translated. You can see the player damage charts there. Cupid topping it, but Basset right behind. But Kabrakan, he's really showing his own. A lot of that coming from that extended dive under tower where he was channeling his 3 the whole time. Oh, here comes the blink forward. Burst onto Hercules. I don't know if it's going to be enough. It's a nicely placed ultimate and Granite Pound. Thor with a spin to win there. But Hercules is going to be able to start healing this one back up. Chain CC coming through, but do they have enough? They're going to need Mjolnir's attunement and more. But Shibalanke ultimate finally comes out as a chase comes through.
No, they
Boulder
didn't.
over the top. Ice is trying to rotate in, but it's blocked by the Kabrakan walls from earlier. And Kabrakan looks like he can stop the Basset from pursuing the Thor much more. He's going to stop and start pounding, but he's immediately CC'd out. The spin to win comes through as well, but they both get cleaned up. And it's an easy fight, honestly, for Nomad there as Excess take out more than they can chew. The knockup comes through. The BG's a little bit prematurely, unable to stop the knockup. The Kraken's on the mark. Back lines continuing to fight here, trying to make the way known. Ice's ultimate is here. It's going to be the burst heal, and Jeremy survives this one yet again, even tanking in the front line. It's a pull! It's a pull for the ages there as down goes Cupid. And it's a 4-man wipe for Team Excess, leaving open the Fire Giant for Nomad with all 5 still up.
Sylvanas with a easy rotation. He came in and was able to hit a 3-man knockup at the end of that team fight and then hits a huge pull. But at the end of the day, Excess, you could just tell, like, shot calling wise, like, no one was saying, like, who they were focusing. It was kind of like a bunch of 1v1 fights, but on the side of Team Nomad, it was a bunch of, like, 3v1s.
Met Yankee, he's feeling himself now after that snag on Sylvanas. That was a gem right there. And looking at him, he has the Wing Blade Rush completed as well as a Sovereignty now. So bringing the MP5 aura, bringing the extra protections as well, and the tier 2 in the mid lane is the target now for Nomad. And they've just expanded upon their lead tremendously there, and they'll continue to do so here with the Fire Giant buff.
And this is the build out of Bastet. If you have the lead, you don't go shifters, you say screw shifters. You go Transcendence, and then you look to go more penetration after that. This is probably going to be a Titan's Bane if the game goes this long. This is exactly what you want to do. If you're about even, then you can kind of go shifter shield because it gives you a little bit of tankiness, but at the end of the day, if you have the lead, you go for the win.
Diving the tower now is Nomad. They're looking to make the play. The big knockup comes through from Sylvanas. It's on a good target, but Ares still gets off the chains. Doesn't matter, bursted down by that Isis ultimate. Now she's going to get cleaned up by the Thor. Shibalanke ultimate here for the chase and pursuit. Nomad going to go deep, and Kabrakan's cleaned up. That is actually a lot of their CC. He's actually had a lot of impact this fight. High impact player. Has this Kabrakan been? Well,
Thor
overall,
took to the skies.
yeah, it's enough. He's going to crash back down, and that's going to force Nomad out a bit, but they can go back and clean up that tier 2 they started earlier.
Yeah, well, they need to, right? Because right now, that Titan is very, very healthy. If you look on the left side, there's still a tier 1 up for Excess. So Nomad either has to get 3 or 4 down to then kind of do it, but why would they? They're going to take the tier 2, they're going to go back and buy again and come back. Shibalanke getting Executioner on, so for 4,200 gold, he is getting a huge power spike on Shibalanke, which means if he catches anyone in a 1v1 or just who is CC'd, he's going to shred through.
Yeah, you see the Cupid with the same build here, and that's kind of where it's a little strange to me to see the Cupid going for this such in-hand focused build with Iqbal and the Executioner. Makes sense on Shibalanke. Most of his damage comes through his in-hands. He wants to get those in-hand debuffs. He wants to, fight you. Cupid, a lot of his damage comes from burst. Even at this stage in the game, he can burst for about 1,000 damage with a fully stacked Heart Bomb and a power item instead of an in-hand focus amplification item. That's kind of like, I think the Cupid meta maybe is still progressing, but it's a crit coming out next for the Cupid and the Xbalanque as well, and he's just going to try to stand toe-to-toe. But it's so awkward because the attack speed sim on Cupid comes off of the dash, and you have such high scaling abilities. I prefer the power build.
Yeah? You like the power build over? I can see that. I think right now it just really comes down to a comfort, especially
yes.
It's new in Season 2, so it's like, okay, well, I know this works based on ranked play and scrim, so I'm going to do it.
Well, you can buy a Titan's Bane for some power and the penetration for your abilities, as well as making you better against towers and structures and the early objectives. But, you know, these players are significantly better than both of us. So,
oh God, yeah.
I will probably be building this in my future games.
Hey,
but
look, I just go like this. I just say opinions and then hope it starts conversation, and then someone gives me a stat sheet which proves me completely wrong, and then I'm like, oh, okay, good.
Yeah, but overall, I think a lot of the power here is the burst, but. It's the red team now. Nomad pushing into the blue team's base of excess. They're trying to hold out here, but beginning to fall like flies. No one dead yet, still inside of Nomad. Shuku already cleaned up, and now Ares is gone as well. The Kraken comes through, but it's not enough to find any kills. Trying to make his way out of this fight now is the Thor. He is actually going to Mjolnir's Achievement out, buying a little bit of time for Nomad, but they're going to start in on the Titan, and it doesn't look like Excess going to be able to hold him out. It's a kill in the well for Hercules over the wall. Xbalanque is still healthy, eats the heart bomb, and now the Titan comes out.
Oof.
This one is going to go the way of Nomad. Scott, it looks like out of the round of 16.
For
Excess.
sure.
They had a moment there where they pulled ahead, but they were unable to deal with the boys from Nomad. Derby leading the charge.
At the same time, we say like they had a chance, but when you think about it, like it was a pretty fortunate steal. They were behind in that time. They probably shouldn't have even gotten that steal.
It was the dream.
If it happens 10 times out of 10, they probably won't get it. But that one, or 9 times out of 10 is.
It was a 1 time in 10 chance that they had.
That's the ticket.
I agree. Yeah, low percentage play.
Very, very low. But
excellent execution. I mean, they got it.
Yeah, I think right now it seems to me like the Cupid Poseidon is just a big gimmick, right?
It's a little cheesy.
It seems cheesy, but if you're gonna do it, you got to have someone like Odin, who you throw in the cage, which we saw like Complexity do yesterday. But at the same time, I would have rather see Ymir. I think in North America, Ymir is just like kind of like
he's underrepresented. I agree.
Very, very underrepresented, and people are just like, screw it.
It's like NA is still kind of reeling from the Ares that Titan put out during the World Championships, and so they're like, oh, we need to like really catch up on our Ares play. But let's take a look at our brackets here. As you see, we've moved on to the round of 8. Complexity beat Resist, Buster beat Driven, and they move up to the round of 8 here. It's Eager versus Nomad, it's Denial versus Poly, and Cog versus Legion. And Cog versus Legion is going to be the team and game that we are going to pick up with.
That's a big match.
It's going to be a good game. It's DJ Pernicus's Legion going up against the new Cognitive team, formerly known as What's Crackin'. It's Jigs and Mask and the boys. And they have their work cut out from here against what seems to be a pretty strong Legion team, although they struggled a little bit last week.
Well, Legion's big problem is the fact that they run like assassins everywhere. I think I watched a scrim last night. It was Polyjuice taking on Legion, and they seemed to kind of go with a little bit more of a meta. They had like traditional supports, and then everything else was kind of different. So I'm expecting a big show now. They need it as well. Like you don't want to go in having a 5 through 8 seed. You really want to get a top 4 finish here, so you're guaranteed a good bracket.
Yeah, this should be a pretty solid game here. I think both teams have a lot to prove. Both of them, I think they're worthy of a spot in the Pro League. And looking at the rosters, both of them probably have the talent to do it. It's a question of who can show up today, guys. It's Legion going up against the newly formed Cognitive team, formerly known as What's Crackin'. We'll be right back with this one in 5 minutes to get it going, guys. Set your timers. We'll see you in just a few.